have a huge round of applause for yourself and welcoming yourself. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
This app is set to redefine the energy conservation by introducing complete automation in sustainability projects. It encompasses a spectrum of features including energy audits, IoT-based monitoring and controls, and energy marketplace. Furthermore, we have carbon accounting, measurement and verification, and carbon trading in the pipeline. To mark this significant milestone, we are honored to extend a special invitation to Mr. Suhas Inamdar, a distinguished veteran in the facility management industry. Beyond his professional achievements, Mr. Suhas Inamdar is also an accomplished author, motivational speaker, and a facility management consultant. His multifaceted contributions to the industry makes him an ideal guest to launch our Save Energy 360 application. We are privileged to have him on stage to officially introduce our advanced application as we enter a new era of sustainable energy practices. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a to welcome Mr. Suhas Inamdar.
Clap, guys. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Remember this moment. Think of this moment because this is a game-changing moment in the field of sustainability for years to come. If you remember that 2 months back, there was a big and prestigious event hosted in Dubai where around 150 heads of state from different countries, they visited here, and there were 85,000 delegates from various countries visited here. I'm sure all of you know I'm talking about COP28, which is the Conference of Parties 28th edition of that. After the Second World War, which ended in 1945, for the next 20 to 30 years, the whole world was just busy in getting itself ready, surviving, and to picking up the pieces fallen down during this war, whose effects are very bad, of course. And the next 20, 30 years went in stabilizing their economies, to recover from the shocks and all that. Come 90s and 70s and 80s, the 70s and 80s were marked by industrial revolution when the industry started growing all over the world and Japanese people led the way. They made the focus on the industrial efficiency, and all the people, old people like me, who have worked in 80s and 90s in the industries, they will know the terms like Six Sigma, 5S. 5S stands for Siri, Saiton, Saiso, Saiketsu, and Shitsuke. These are the Japanese names for good housekeeping practices. Then TPM, TQM, and all these quality circles, these names happen. So by 80s and 90s, the industrial efficiencies were achieved. And then came 90s. In 90s, two things simultaneously happened. One was the digital revolution. There was the first digital revolution, that is the internet. It started really percolating far and wide. And second parallel thing at the same time happened was about the opening up of the economies, the globalization. So what happened by this is that when the digitalization happened, when the world opened for the data, first time the people talked about data, the data was accessible for everyone and people realized that there are opportunities existing in different parts of the world. So people started buying and selling the products and services in different parts of the world, and the globalization helped them to do that. And then it became a big competition, and then people talked about standards. Because when there is abundance in market, then people focus on the quality. And then the ISO phenomena came into picture. So from 90s up to the first decade of this century, up to 2005-10, the focus in the world was about getting ISO certification. And then, somewhere around 2010, people realized one thing, that this is all fine. Now we have got good efficiencies, we have got good market practices, everything is fine. But there was something which was happening parallelly, and that there were a lot of tsunamis, there were a lot of unpredicted rains, there were earthquakes, there were wildfires, there were tornadoes, there were tsunamis. I mean, these things were not controlled really. I mean, there was no pattern which was evidenced, which was witnessed all along earlier. So there was some amount of an unpredictability building into the world's weather patterns. And then people realized that this is because of something called global warming. And then people realized that the way we, the current generation of people who are handling the world, it is definitely not the best way that it should have been handled. And if we continue like this, probably the world may not survive for a very longer period. Maybe, next 2 or 3 or 4 generations, the world will be very different if it exists by then still. That was the kind of seriousness where it came. And then people started talking about sustainability. And then after a deeper study and understanding of sustainability, the United Nations, they formed something called UNSDG, which is United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are all agreed by all the parties, all the countries. And there are 27, 28 goals in this, and they are broadly under the 3 categories, which we call the triple bottom line, which is the economic sustainability, environmental sustainability, and social sustainability. Because unless we have these 3 sustainabilities, the world cannot sustain. And now let me come from this global perspective to Hansa Energy Solutions, because Hansa Energy Solutions in the last decade has been contributing immensely into the environmental sustainability part of the sustainability, the major sustainability subject. Now, when all this is going on, there is one management proverb which comes into picture, and it says that if you keep doing what you are doing, you will keep getting what you are getting. If you want to get something different, you need to do something different. And this is where Hansa Energy Solutions has been working for the last 3 years. And this credit for this goes to Tanveer Hussain. Give please a big round of applause to Tanveer Hussain. He is the brain behind this developing this app. Now, Tanveer Hussain is one of the rare blend of a research scholar. He is a PhD in sustainability, by the way. I doubt in UAE you can count on fingers the PhD in sustainability. So he is that. He is a successful entrepreneur, and he is a good human being as well, of course. So please welcome Tanveer Hussain to discuss more features about this app. Welcome, please, Tanveer Hussain.
So, good evening, all. First of all, I would like to thank you all for taking this time out in this weekend. We know it is the precious time that you were supposed to spend with your family, but it shows the keenness, the passion that you have towards sustainability and the technology. So this particular application has been developed keeping in mind that any single entity, a company or a government cannot achieve this target. It has to be a collective effort. It has to be a collective effort from the facilities management companies, asset management companies, and the owners themselves. So what we have seen in the market is that there are around 400 facilities management companies in UAE, and we can see that there are very limited companies who have an capability of managing energy in their own facility. Obviously, all our engineers, they know what they want, they need to be done. But the problem is there is a gap between doing it systematically, and this particular application that we are launching today bridges that gap between an energy management company and an FM or asset management company. So the motive, the reason behind the gathering today, we had a long speech from ma'am and very impressive, very motivating speech on sustainability. But the real thing is, are we there yet? Or are we thinking that this is going to happen tomorrow and we still have time? My answer is no. We are in a state of emergency. We say that it's a climatic emergency. And that is the reason that a government entity or government entity does play an important role in achieving the targets. But it has to be embedded, as Pam said, it has to be embedded in each one of us. Because we are the climatic warriors here. The FM companies here, they are the one who knows the facilities better. I mean, there is no other company who knows their facilities. It's the FM companies, or rather the asset management companies. So, to give you a glimpse of where we are, we know that in Conference of Parties 21, which happened in 2015, it was agreed that there would be we would limit the temperature rise by 2 degrees Celsius by 2050. But the trend that we see is not really encouraging. We see that the trend towards the temperature rise is increasing. And it's the time to, if we have to achieve the target, we have to come this way, and we are going the opposite way. So it's really the time to act, because each one of us is going to get affected by the climatic change, or rather it might be our children directly. So obviously, when it comes to the targets which every country has set, net zero target 2050 by UAE, obviously there would be a lot of fund that will be coming into the market. The question is whether we are poised to take a pie of that climatic financing. Around $2 trillion every year is expected to pump into the market for climatic financing. Are we poised? Are we ready for taking that fund and utilizing for climatic actions? The major challenges that we have seen, and or rather the gap that we have seen, is that one is the lack of data. Most of the places the problem is there is no data at all. Rather, if there is a data, there is no systematic way to convert it into an energy audit report, or rather to go with the implementation. And the second biggest challenge is the bounded rationality, because it is a manual approach that we normally take. So there is no, and there is a gap in the skill sets, because all the 400 FM companies cannot have an energy management team in house. So they have to rely on a third party. So that skill set is a very big challenge. The internal access to the capital. Actually speaking, because I have been interacting with many financiers in the region, money is not the problem. Problem is we do not have the right methodology to take that money and implement in the project, or rather the right steps, or the systematic way of doing it. Another problem that we have seen is when FM do it or the owners do it, probably the incentives is passed on to somebody else. So they always think it's not my responsibility, it should be somebody else's responsibility, because I'm not getting the benefit directly. The risk and uncertainty, to understand what are the risks associated and the uncertainties you want to mitigate those risks. So that is a skill set that is again lacking. Other transactional costs, which refers to the consultancy fees that they have to pay for getting that preliminary report out, or the final reports out. So these are the major gaps that we have identified, and these gaps, the application tries to mitigate each and every gaps that we have found. So we have developed a framework which will help the organization to achieve I would say that respective net zero targets on an organization level or on a facilities level. Government plays their job role significantly, but there will be a point that this will be passed on to the lowest level, or rather the facilities level, that they should also, now people are doing it on a voluntary level, but we can expect soon that it gets into mandatory level, because there is no other way, it has to be done. So the framework that we have developed is a systematic way of data collection, processing a national level 1 audit report, and using technology to do the real-time monitoring of the systems, collect the data, process it to a national level 2 audit reports, doing a benchmarking, be it industry, be it in the government sector, do the benchmarking, because once the data is coming in, we can do the benchmarking. Energy efficiency implementation, renewable energy, and other carbon offset methods to offset the carbon dioxide emission. So why always energy efficiency comes first? Because the purest of energy is energy saved. Because when people think that renewable energy is the cleanest energy, no. It is the energy saved that is the cleanest of energy. So we give emphasis on energy efficiency, and once you have done all the energy efficiency measures, you go to the renewable energy sector. So I hope everybody, or if you have any difference of opinion, please, this is not a forum of giving a lecture. It's a forum where we have to discuss and find a way out. So, if you have any points, just raise the hands and let's discuss this. I mean, I know it will not take long, but still, with whatever the time limit that we have, let's try to conclude. So let us unite and fill the gaps to achieve the net zero goals. This is the motto of developing the application. So I go directly to the application. Polar, okay. I mean, if there is any questions or anything, please feel free. Yeah, surely. Because the
Can I
yeah.
me to do?
Ask.
Okay, you said a very unique sentence to say that clean energy is not the renewable energy, it is the saved energy. Would you like please to elaborate on that, explain it?
Yeah. Only one correction that I have to bring in is I'm not a doctor, I'm a PhD scholar, I'm doing my research work. So that's something, sorry, probably missed it. What I tried to mention is the cleanest of the energy is the energy saved. It's not the renewable energy. Because when you go into the renewable energy, you need to bring a solar panel, which is manufactured in China or India or anywhere else in the world. And there is a production cost associated, there is a material associated, it has to be transported to you, and there is an impact on that. Whereas simply you controlling the an HVAC system doesn't cost you anything, and it's an energy which is free of it. It's the cleanest actually. That is what it is. So this application is called Save Energy 360. So we provide this application to our partners and to the users who want to use it. As any application, whoever using it has to sign up with basic information and log into the page. So I'm here demonstrating a live and real example. Though the name of the buildings and the photos have changed, these are the live real data actually. So these are 3 buildings under one user that we have implemented an energy retrofit based in Dubai. So let me go into the features of this application. So you might be remembering the slide that we presented on the framework. So this particular application has every component which will help the organization to achieve the net zero target. For instance, first step I mentioned that there should be a systematic way of data collection. So we provide Azure level 1 energy audit without charging anything. It's a freely given to our user, where they can just enter some basic information. For example, everybody knows what is their electricity bill in their facility. So what they have to do is they enter the electricity bills. All they have to do is enter the assets in their facility, which we all know that every facility management company or asset management company will know what are the assets in their company, and there would be some basic information that has to be captured, like for example, chiller, how old is the chiller, what is the tonnage of the chiller, whether it is running in the summer or winter, so few questions, basic questions that we ask, and after this report, they will be able to download the report directly. So once they analyze, they will be able to download the report directly, which is a single page report, but we will be providing them with, which will be giving them an idea of how much percentage that they can save, and what are their distribution, what is their energy performance index, etc. So this is a single pager report which any user can download. But what we will be offering is a 3-pager report to our partners like FM companies, where we will also give them. It is also automatically downloaded, but we get it in the backend, which we will be giving to the FM companies, and it will tell what exactly you have to do to achieve this 26% or 27% savings. And that is automatically. And believe me, man, this cuts short the time duration of doing the energy audit. Azure level energy audit normally takes 3 man days to do it. And with this application, you can do it in half day. So we have done this with Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure also, MOEI, where they had 3,000 buildings. So you can imagine, just to do Azure level 1, they had to spend 9,000 days, man days, which we are giving them probably like 1/4 of time they can do it with this application. And this particular page, which they logs in, the first page that they're going to see, gives them an overall idea of how much they can save. See, you can see that they can save 1.25 million AED every year, and which avoids 1.37 million kilograms of carbon dioxide every year. And this graphs gives them an idea on how every facility is performing. You can say that some of the facilities are performing very well, some of them are performing very bad. So overall, what is the average performance of that facility, and how, and after doing the implementation, which is comes as a recommendation from the energy audit, how much it can improve. So this particular information is given to them without any charge. I mean, that's the highlight. Here we are cutting short that the consultancy barrier that they have. Now, once they have this static, we call this as a static data. So once they have a static data, we know there are human errors that can happen. I mean, maybe while entering the data, there might be some errors. So what we go for is an IoT-based monitoring system. So this is an IoT-based control system that we have developed, where there is the limit for controlling and monitoring is just our imagination. Whatever you want to control, you want to manage, you can do it through a SaaS model, and that's also we are not charging them upfront. It's in a software as a service model that we do, and the customer themselves can feed what they want to enter and keep on adding. Whether, for example, here the utility they have selected electricity, because it all automatically comes. They have already, once they have enter it once, then throughout they need not do it again. It comes automatically. BMS, chillers, or they just need to do the location and keep adding what they want to do. And we provide the service as a SaaS model. Now I'll give you an example of an site. So this is a chiller plant management system we did it in one of these facility, where all the details, I mean, it's just created for a demo purpose, but we can bring out, this is a live slide, you can see system running. So we can bring out any data that we want to, and we use this data to do the Azure level 2 report, which is important to verify whether the initial data that we have entered is correct or not. So here, it gives a lot of information. We can download any chart that we require. I'll show you an example. How do we assess? So this is called kilowatt. I am going very technical in this. This is called kilowatt. The tonnage of the chiller outcome is measured, and the kilowatt is also measured. And we are calculating the kilowatt per ton. Ideally, it should be in the range of 1.5, 1.1, because this is a 14-year-old chiller. But you can see at times it is increasing above 2. So this gives us information that if we replace with this chiller, what is the actual savings that they are going. That's what Azure level 2 is going to bring out. So we have embedded this in the software, in the software, and this will help us to do the Azure level 2. And soon we will be having a next version where the Azure level 2 is also automated. Now you have done the Azure level 1, you got the Azure level 2 report. Now it goes to the implementation. So we have an energy marketplace which is implemented. So energy marketplace is like any marketplace. You can add, other than you doing shopping on any loan or something. This is all related to the sustainability or energy concepts or energy and water. So here you can choose any we call it as energy conservation measures. You can choose energy conservation measures. So here we give options of we give two options actually. Like we had highlighted one gap of having less access to the financing. So we operate in a zero capex model also, which we bring in external financing, and from the savings it is being paid back to the customer. So that is zero capex model, and there are different terminologies associated, like people from ESCO market like Pablo knows it in very detail. And we do in two options. One, either we bring in the money and execute the project, or the client says we have the money, we will do it, but you just guarantee it. So that is the second way of operating. So this entire process will help you streamline. And another good part, sorry, which I missed out, is these. There are a lot of vendors who is already registered with us. So the customer has an option to choose which vendor they need to opt, and they can opt maximum of 3 products per energy conservation measures, which will help them to have a comparison of which product is better for them to go with. And I would like to, introduce a very unique program which we have come up with called demand aggregation program. This program, actually, the inspiration behind this program is one of our partner companies called Energy Efficiency Services Limited, which was the Government of India organization. They reduced the price of if I take the example of LED lights, at a time where it was selling around 300-400 rupees, it was sold at 60. So what they did is they aggregated demand of the entire India, which was around 300 million. They got an inquiry for 300 million. So they bargained it with the end customer, sorry, the vendors, and this benefit was passed on to the user. So the same concept, what we have done is we have listed the various products under this demand aggregation program. So here, this is a solar system which has a base price of 4,587. It's a carport, I believe, carport structure, where you install solar over the carport. But you might have only requirement of 50 kilowatt. But what we do is we aggregate the demand for the first 30 days, and probably that will help us to give you a better discounted offer, which may fall on 15% or 20%. So this is because that benefit of demand aggregation can be passed on to the end user. So we have listed many energy conservation, many products in this, where the customer can directly go and purchase it. Means, it's LED lights, everybody knows that once they do LED lights, there will be savings, so there is no much dilution required. So, but here, by doing this, the cost of the product is being, that benefit has been passed on to the end user. So, this compromises the 3 fully developed modules of my products, and as Sridevi or Mr. Suhas also mentioned, there are a few things that is going to come. So once you do the energy efficiency and renewable energy, we have to look for other carbon offset measures. So what we are trying to do is we are going to, once you have done we are going to do a carbon audit, which is also automated, and which will help you to do carbon dioxide trading through blockchain. So that is something which we are trying to launch in May. So these are the 2 modules which is under development, which is MNV and CO2 report and the carbon trading. But there are 2 modules which is ready, which is called adaptatory and ESG reporting. I'm sure you will be. Let me start with adaptatory. So we know that afforestation is a method of reducing the carbon emissions, or reducing that carbon footprint in any organization. But the problem is, we are all busy, we have a busy life here. We do not have the time to go and plant a tree. So what we did is, we had a tie-up with many NGOs who will be doing the afforestation. What we will be doing, we will be digitizing the plants. Every tree that you plant will be tagged, and you will get an information of what is the health of that plant, where it is planted, what is the age of that plant, and what is the status. So by one-time cost, you can do the planting. And we have NGOs who are tied up in UAE and India. And one important thing that we are close to is we are trying to get into Amazon rainforest also, because the afforestation is most importantly affected in or required in the Amazon rainforest more than anywhere else, because that's the place where the climate changes really gets affected. I'll show you an example of how it looks like. So this is the tree tagging system that we have. So this is the tree that was planted in 2022 by Foundation called Sustera. I don't know the name, so it's called so. Here you can plant the mangroves in UAE. But in India, due to the climate conditions, there are other trees also like avocado, mango, or any trees that you want to. So this is a tree tagging system that we have done. So basically what we do is digitalizing the plantation, but the responsibility is taken care by an NGO. Now, coming to the final portion, which is the ESG reporting. So ESG reporting, we know that any listed company under Abu Dhabi exchange or anybody dealing with the bank, ESG is something which is very important to us, because now most of the companies depends on Big Four and they charge millions of dirhams to come with an ESG. So what we have done is we have integrated AI based system where we integrated with ChatGPT. We already have significant inputs in the system, but there should be other inputs also like waste management and other recycling stuff. So once they enter that, an AI-based report is generated automatically, which cuts shorts, which gives you, and this report is as per the GRI standards based on the United Nations, that United Nations has published. So I will just wrap up my presentation by just showing you the report, a standard report of ESG, how it looks like. So every components of ESG, the inputs are done through the platform. Rather the writing job, AI does better than the humans. Now we have to agree to that. So it is being taken care by them, and the report is published in the GRI format. So this is the module that is ready, but not yet integrated. We will be integrating it soon. So that's all from my side, but I still look forward to interacting with you. I'll be sharing the link with you. I want to get the feedback so that I can make it better. Thank you all.